Hey guys, it's Ruby here and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome to my channel, welcome to my space. I'm so happy that you're here with us today. So today I would love to take the time to talk to you guys about my language learning routine that I'm currently doing on my own. I'm not taking any classes because, as you may know, if you've been following my journey so far, I'm currently working on improving my French along with learning Japanese from scratch all on my own. No formal classes at the moment, and it's been fun. And I thought I would take the time to share my routine with you guys because hopefully it can be something that is of service to you in your own language learning journey. And maybe it can even be applicable in any other thing that you may be learning. So without further ado, let's get to my routine. The main thing I definitely do is I make it a priority to study every day because it's really the repetition that counts. And you know, it's better to do every day, even if it's only like 10 or 15 minutes a day, as opposed to doing like 5 hours one day and then not doing anything else for the rest of the week. So I always make it a habit now to study every day. And I have been studying every day, with the exception of one day that I did take off because I was very under the weather. But other than that, I've been studying daily and it's been fun because it really shouldn't feel like work. I feel like it's a habit that you have to integrate into your life and see it as something like, not something that I have to do, but something that I get to do. You know, you have to go in with that attitude. And my goal when I always jump into like my language learning, even on the days that maybe I don't really feel that motivated or inspired, I make it a goal that the minimum is to do at least 15 minutes a day. And, you know, I usually end up doing more than that. So just make it a goal to at least do 15 minutes a day. And, you know, if you want to like build from that, you can start adding like 5 or 10 more minutes each time. But definitely doing it daily, it really does make a difference. Definitely make it a habit to study every day. Like for me in Japanese, I tend to study 1 to 2 hours in a day for Japanese. And then for French, I dedicate anywhere between 30 to 60 minutes because French is something I have more experience with. So I definitely feel more confident in being able to like dedicate a little less time to that. Whereas Japanese, it's something that is totally new to me. And because I do want to learn and be able to like at least be at an intermediate level soon, I'm definitely taking the time to study that a little more. That's kind of like a bigger priority at the moment. One of the things I do, because like I know it sounds like a lot, like what, 1 to 2 hours, what, 30 and 60 minutes, do you do it all together? No, I do not do it all together. I break it down. So usually Japanese is something I tend to study like first thing in the morning because I'm excited and that's like what I really want to jump into. And I'll do anywhere between like 30 to 60 minutes in that time. And then somewhere towards like the late afternoon, I'll do like 30 to 60 minutes of French. And then the evenings, I tend to just review whatever it is I learned that day for like Japanese or French or both, like at the same time, whatever it is that I learned, I review it because the thing is that whatever you do before you go to sleep, it has a powerful effect in the subconscious mind. So for example, if there's like maybe a word that you were struggling to learn or to remember or a phrase or whatever, like a tip that I definitely recommend would be like writing it 3 to 5 times in a row before going to bed, and that definitely will have a powerful effect in your subconscious mind. So what I found is when I review right before going to sleep, like the next day, it's there in my mind. I remember it, I learned it, because it has a powerful effect, like especially writing it down, it has a powerful effect in your subconscious mind. So I definitely recommend that if you're someone who definitely, like I definitely don't do it all together at the same time. I definitely like break it down. I won't do Japanese and French in one sitting, like Japanese, then French, and then just review whatever it is I reviewed that day. For my routine, I tend to listen to a lot of things. So I'll watch YouTube videos and I'll watch stuff on Netflix or Hulu. I'll listen to music, and usually like on YouTube, for example, when I like watch or listen to French, I will have like subtitles on or like lyrics or whatever, because it really does help like make that connection with the words and, you know, what I'm hearing, what I'm listening to. And sometimes I do challenge myself not to like read the French subtitles, because that way I also get really that ear training going on, the listening skills. But it's really great to actually integrate that because it really does help improve your listening skills when it comes to Japanese, because I'm not, you know, fluent in reading like hiragana, katakana, and kanji. I definitely at times like have English subtitles on, which I know isn't always great, because I have heard people recommending to just like not try to not add the English subtitles and really work on the listening skills. But because I'm really a beginner and I kind of want to understand what's going on, I do leave them on at the moment. But hopefully soon I'll be able to like just take them off. But I'm challenging myself to now just like put Japanese subtitles and listen and at least be able to like recognize some of the hiragana characters I see. But definitely listening is a great thing because it will help you also improve with your pronunciation, which is a great thing because that way people, native speakers, will be able to understand what you're saying. Another thing I'm doing is definitely reading, because reading, it's great because you get to practice how to read. So for example, Japanese, I was mostly just learning phrases, but this month, like for the first month, but this month now I'm focusing more on really writing, learning the characters, excuse me, learning the characters. Like I pretty much got the hiragana down, and I'm gonna focus a little bit on the katakana, but I'm also like challenging myself to read because last week I actually started working with like a Japanese tutor on Italki. You should definitely like check out Italki. It's a great place to like connect with a tutor who can like help you improve in your target language. And you know, it really helped me because she asked me like, okay, like what do you know, like any of the, you know, writing systems? I'm like, oh, like I've been studying hiragana, so I kind of got that. So she like wrote whatever like words and phrases that we're going over in hiragana. So that really pushed me and challenged me to work more on my reading, which is great because now that's helping me become better in the language. And it's great because that's what you want, because ultimately reading and writing will help you become a like better, well-rounded speaker and just be able to connect with the people and the culture and all that stuff. So I definitely recommend like pushing yourself when it comes to like practicing your reading. I also do that with French, just practice my reading. And I'm also starting to do that with Spanish because I do speak Spanish, but I also want to like be better at it because at times like I'm pretty good at like translating English words into Spanish words, but sometimes there are certain words that just get away from me that I'm not really sure how to translate. So I'm making it a goal to read Spanish books now. Reading is great. One of the other things I also do is like when I learn a new word, as I had mentioned, I like tend to write it 3 to 5 times if it really doesn't stick. But I also do my best to like write like in a journal entry, like for example in French, because again, I'm not fluent with my writing yet in Japanese, but like in French, I'll try to like integrate a word into like a journal entry or use it within the context of a sentence or phrase. And that really helps me integrate more of that word and the meaning into my mind so I'm able to understand it and really remember it, internalize it, because that's what we want to do. We want to be able to truly learn it, you know, not just hear the word, but really listen, understand it, internalize, and just succeed, right? That's what we ultimately want. Now, I'm going to be honest, it's not something like, for the most part, I definitely do that like 5-6 times a week, but then there's probably like one day out of the week where maybe I am a little tired or kind of like drained, a little burnt out, so I don't really push myself to have to like study specifically in that way, but I will make it a goal to at least do passive learning, because everything I just talked about is definitely active learning. So active learning is just that, being active in your learning. But sometimes we have those days when we're tired. So I tend to be a passive learner. So what that means for me is sometimes just watching TV or listening to music without like the goal of learning new words. It's really practicing my listening skills, because a lot of times what I also tend to do is like when I watch videos of my active learning is I'll try to like, you know, go back and re-listen like to the words or the phrases, so my ear gets used to those sounds. And sometimes I will also jot down new vocabulary that I don't know, so I learn them. But when it comes to passive learning, it's just that sometimes it's passive. I'll just listen and that's it. And for me, another thing that I consider passive, which maybe isn't completely passive, is like my hiragana writing. Like sometimes I know it's technically active because you are learning the stroke patterns, but once I got the stroke pattern down, it just feels very passive because I'm just like repeating it, just rewriting it. So I consider that for me like a little active, but then mostly passive. So like I'm definitely making an effort more to like practice my writing, but like on those days when I really don't feel like studying, that's maybe like part of like my passive learning for the day. And then just listening or watching a YouTube video in my target language that I'm learning. And that's about it. So yeah, like you definitely want to find a balance too. So don't force yourself on those days when you don't feel like studying. So like have to be active in your learning. You can also be passive, and it will definitely help in the process, at least with like your listening and speaking skills. So that's basically my routine of what I've been doing so far in my language learning journey. And it's been super helpful and fun. And I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and that maybe you guys found some tips or routine ideas of what you can integrate into your routine. This is really nothing special. I feel like this is something that to some degree most like language learning students do. So I really hope you found this video helpful and you learned something valuable or new, or inspired you just to like get up right now and start studying your target language. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to watch more videos like this, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe to my channel for new videos each week. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next one.